Hey, yo, you meat suits. It's me, the Immoral Oracle, and I'm coming in today to do a not your average love reading. Okay, this is a love reading, but it's not going to be your average love reading. We are going to be using the Bone Garden Tarot deck, and at the end, for some bonus cards, we're using the Energy Oracle cards deck. All right, today we're going to be asking, what did your past relationship teach you about yourself? What did it teach you about love? How can you support your heart as you move forward from this? What do you still need to release when it comes to this love? And what was good about this love that you should cultivate more of in the future? And then at the end, I will throw some bonus energy into the mix. All right, YouTube would like me to tell you that you should like, comment, subscribe, share, engage in some way with my content. If you love it, if you hate it, just to get things moving and shaking in the algorithm. Also, personally, I would just love to hear what you see in the cards, what your experience was, anything that you need to get off your chest. I do this for a love of people, but for a love of people from a safe distance. So my comment section is that for you as well. All right, without further ado, let's talk about, what did this past relationship teach you about yourself? Okay. Nine of Pentacles, my friend. Nine of Pentacles. So what popped into my brain immediately was independence. Okay. Um, this past relationship taught you independence. I don't know that it necessarily gave that to you, but it showed you just how independent you are. It also showed you just how genuinely abundant and, like, regardless of gender, because anybody with anybody could relate with it, a male or female gendered tarot energy, but just like how much you are truly like wifey material, like, or like husband material, like you really are that bitch. You do have it going for you. Okay, just within you, you are somebody who is willing to put in the work, and this relationship really taught you that. Yeah, it gave you some self-worth. Okay. And I do want to point out, Nine of Pentacles is basically, previous to Queen of Pentacles energy, and she is the wife card. So this relationship taught you, maybe for some of you, whatever your views are of like legal marriage, just that you are quality long-term material, and that you now know that about yourself. Okay. Or it taught you to really step into that about yourself at the very least. Maybe you knew it already, but we'll get into the rest of this. So, what did this past relationship teach you about love? Okay. So, Five of Pentacles and Three of Pentacles. So, what's coming to mind right away is what love isn't. And maybe that seems basic, like, or maybe even reductive, but actually that's really important when you're navigating romance, relationships, and love. Okay. And I'm just assuming that this relationship is probably love, because most people tune into love readings for romantic love, but this could be any kind of relationship, really, right? So what it taught you is what love, doesn't feel like. Um, and it also taught you that you can't be in a relationship alone. Okay. That, you know, collaboration is really important, that people working together and being on the same page is important. It maybe taught you how to practice doing that more, right? But these two energies together could be talking to me about this situation really teaching you, especially with independence being like the overall theme of what this relationship gave you, is maybe you realized that you were alone, or you felt alone in the relationship, and that you weren't building together. So that kind of brought you to a place where you value and will require that moving forward. That's kind of what I'm getting off of that. But it also just taught you how to move through hardship and how to move through feeling alone. I'm also getting, especially with five of Pentacles, and this won't be for everybody, but for some of you, this may be a relationship that kind of showed you inside of you where you are still lacking, because this could be about self-worth. This could be about showing you or reminding you of wounding from the past, from past relationships, whatever ages or stages of your life you were in, where you felt rejected and forgotten, and like your needs didn't matter. And so this could also be talking about maybe showing you some ways that you have self-abandoned, right? But mostly, it's funny that this is the Three of Pentacles, because I want to say it taught you that it takes two to tango. But it also could be teaching you something like it takes a village. So that's interesting. For some of you, that could be something coming through. And maybe that's just like about, raising you, maybe that you need your friends, that something to that there. Okay. So how can you support your heart moving forward in this? Okay. And we got Eight of Wands and Five of Cups. So you can support your heart, by literally moving on as you move forward. That I could get that from the Eight of Wands here, because it can be about messages and movement, but it also just talks about alignment, and it it talks about maybe even how can you support your heart as you move forward. It almost talks about like maybe writing about this or talking about this with friends or people that you trust, maybe looking at it differently. Maybe part of doing things like readings like this to help you shift your perspective and your emotions about it, to look at it differently, to notice what does remain. Okay. But also this can just talk about, to support your heart as you're moving forward, like openly grieve, whatever openly is for you, wherever those spaces are safe. Write about it, talk about it, you know for some of you with Eight of Wands, this could literally be talking about like going to the gym or doing some sort of physical movement to release some of these feelings. Um, but yeah, Five of Cups is all about that disappointment, but it is also literally about healing. So this is about being open and just moving yourself towards healing. Wands is always to me like an inner fire, of who you actually are in a spiritual and like soul sense. So it can really be talking about putting that energy into, like, actively intentionally putting that energy into healing and moving on. Okay. It could be talking about that. How can you support your heart as you move forward? You definitely need to, these cards are saying, commit to moving forward. So maybe even for some of you, there has been a desire to still look back and maybe even like long for this, even though you know it's not good for you, um, or just a wistfulness. And so there is a need here to um, maybe, yeah, shift that perspective. And definitely with Five of Cups here, look at what remains. Like focus intently with joy and your full passion at the upright cups and what you still have, right? And that will help your heart to move forward more gracefully in this. Okay, what do you still need to release when it comes to this? Five of Cups, that's perfect timing to come in and talk about that. Okay, here you got 10 of Wands and 6 of Pentacles. So, yeah, back to this 5 of Cups, 8 of Wands. So, first of all, you need to release the burden of this. You need to, I'm getting with 10 of Wands, forgive yourself, maybe for hanging on too long. With 6 of Pentacles here, with accepting less than you deserved here. Um, and maybe for quite some time, if 10 of Wands is here, like you let this go on for too long. You recognize that there wasn't fairness, support, and like equal give and take in the situation, and you continued to feed it your vital life force um, in an effort to not have to let it go. But in doing so, there's a recognition in this of a level of, like I was saying, self-abandonment. Okay. And especially with her being, the 9 of Pentacles and, basically pre-queen, pre-empress as well, like she's she's worth she's worth more than this, more than feeling like this in love or about love, right? Also, there's a way that maybe some of the mental that's going on here is that there is a habit of looking at love like it's a burden, and maybe this situation kind of like reinforced that for you, and there's a need to release that, because the 6 of Pentacles is here to say you can have like fairness and support, because this is feeling really unsupported in a relationship, right? And maybe even like allowing third parties, if the 3 of Pentacles is there, that's going to be just for some of you, right? But that you need to release the idea that like that's all that love is, because it is so much more than that, and there's really a part of you that knows that, right? But because 9 of Pentacles is like almost a manifestation card to me, you can't have energy like this in the mix. You can't feel like love is a burden. You can't be hanging on to, like, say, all of the years that you gave this and feeling like it was a waste. How can it be a waste if this is what it taught you and this is where it brought you, right? So that's coming through. Also, a need to release the idea that love can't be fair, okay? Because it can. Maybe not with this person in this situation, but you know, you need to release the idea that you have to overgive, overstate your needs, overcompensate, hang in there and get battered. Like, you don't have to, okay? I don't want to step on any toes, because there's all different kinds of spiritual and religious ideas sometimes around like divorce and things like that. But truly, in theory, right? For all we know, all we really know is that we get this one life, like this one life. And who doesn't want love? I mean, I guess maybe some people don't, but I see humans as hardwired to want this, right? Like, why would we hold ourselves to like suffering enough to receive love? I feel like that is a mentality that needs to be released here. That love can come easily and freely is the mantra that might be helpful for some of you, right? Yeah. You don't have to carry the weight of the relationship. Like it's a two-way street. Okay. And what was good about it that you should try to cultivate and bring into your future? All right. So Queen of Wands and Seven of Cups. Um, so right off the bat, I mean, especially with Nine of Pentacles here, so Queen of Wands is magnetic and attractive, and she's inspired, and she gets attention without trying, and she is just kind of like fun and magical, and everyone wants to be around her. And with Seven of Cups here, like you do have options, right? What was it about that you should cultivate in the future? Oh, you should be choosier. You should sit, watch what comes, and sift through it, right? You should also fantasize. I'm getting that fantasy. Oh, yeah, especially for those of you that I was talking about, like writing or journaling or like exploring your feelings in some way. That could be like artistically, and you don't have to be like some famous artist or like, I'm not even saying that. Sometimes just the fact that personally, I've sat down before. I've gone to like a used bookstore, and I've gotten a bunch of magazines, and I've done like a collage just for like therapeutic value at home for me, to like kind of do a vision board or kind of do like a journaling experience, like something like that could be something positive for somebody in this. But anyway, so Queen of Wands is just saying, like, with Seven of Cups here, it's saying be choosier, right? Like that is something that you could take forward, but also like be your brilliant, magnetic, seductive self. You don't chase, you attract. That's what you can take from this. You don't chase, you attract. And like with the options here, you don't have to stay stuck in things. The Queen of Wands will be damned if she's going to stay stuck in something. She's constantly moving, evolving, expressing. Like she's ornate, she likes to dress up, she, whatever her thing is. And again, there is no gender in tarot. Like you could be a cishet straight man, and it's like, go get yourself like a shirt that makes you happy, that makes you feel good, that makes you sexy. Like go get yourself into the gym, whoever you are. Like play the field, do it honestly, but do it nonetheless. Don't settle too soon. That's definitely something that you could take away from this. Inspect these cups carefully, right? But also keep it light, keep it lighthearted. That is something that you could take away from this, because with the Nine of Pentacles, you're knowing your worth, and you're showing up in big ways, not shrinking into the world. If this process is done well, right? And don't worry, in Queen of Wands energy, what is for you will really be attracted to you. You will be magnetic. And that, you can use that fantasy life for manifestation as well. Sit down and think, where do I want to be in 5 years? What do I want my life to look like? I'm getting, for some of you, that might not even be love. Like, you know what I mean? It could just be fun, like magnetic experiences. It could be, wands here. It could be focusing on the sexual, feeling sexy, pleasure in general. Okay, that's going to be different for everybody. I'm not telling you to go out there and be a hoe. Like, I'm telling you to follow your own soul and your own spirit on this. But you did find out here that you were wifey material. So if that's truly what you decide that you want, use that Queen of Wands energy to magnetize that to yourself, and then be choosy about the cups that show up. That's sort of what's the baseline of those cards coming through here. And then I asked as a bonus, what else is something that the viewer could know about what they were learning here? Okay, you got All Tied Up 23, and you got Door to Romance. Okay, I want to talk about All Tied Up because this actually does tie into this, what I was seeing a little bit in the Pentacles there. So it's really important in this card, All Tied Up. It's almost like an Eight of Swords energy, but it's really not. But it is in the sense that it's talking about being aware of the role you play in keeping yourself stuck, okay? In where you maybe accepted less, where you maybe showed up and did more than your fair share, where you maybe didn't let it go out of a sense of, loyalty. Nine of Pentacles, that's a very loyal energy. That's a long-term, like, invested energy, right? But it, like, you can kiss a pig, it's still a pig, like, that's kind of the energy of All Tied Up. So it's like, stop kissing pigs. And maybe, this work is really going to be important on kind of like figuring out, sifting through, and just acknowledging and letting go of like those wounds of where, others have abandoned you, you have abandoned yourself, and just like, okay, no more. Because why? Well, door to romance is a wonderful energy. Like, this is saying, like, you're ready to love and be loved, whatever that looks like for you, you know? And Queen of Wands is also going to be about enjoying the journey, right? So the door to romance is here. This situation brought you into the frequency of receiving love, which is, yes, okay. That's what's happening here. Into the frequency of receiving love. And this cat using discernment, right? There's a door, there's a cage, like, there is protections in place. You have learned a thing or two. You're not just going to keep kissing pigs or like accepting snakes, right? But it's here. The vibration of love is here. And it's as a result of all of the hard things that you went through with this, because you learned about yourself, about how rich, abundant, independent, magnetic, beautiful, and fun you are. Again, regardless of gender. You really got to know yourself, and your heart is ready for love. Truly. Until next time, be well.